which is right here. It is a restaurant slash convenience store. They sell amazing sandwiches, which are actually a kind of a hidden gem a little bit. And then you also have the Lalaurie Mansion, which is the most haunted house in New Orleans. That is right here. And right next to it, you also have the Gallier House. This house has a lot of history. It's been in movies and TV shows. Most recently, the TV show that is on my mind because I watched it for the third time, Interview with the Vampire on AMC. They shot it at this building right here called the Gallier House. And that is an old architect's house that was responsible for Gallier Hall and a few other buildings in New Orleans, including the apartments in Jackson Square, which were their first apartments in the country. So it was commissioned in 1966. However, it got put as a National Park Reserve in the service in 1975. But very cool. The crazy part is James Gallier Jr. died in 1868. So he had this house built, which by the way, I didn't show you that, but that it has one of the most amazing doors and entrances to any building in New Orleans. And this is the part that you see a lot in Interview with the Vampire on AMC. So pretty cool. But we're gonna walk down Royal Street. And this is the museum. So that's how you enter. It's like, I wanna say $20 to do a tour of it. And the tour, everything's set up in the 1800s. So like, it's pretty cool to see it. A lot of interesting information. But Royal Street is mostly, it's quieter than Bourbon Street. During the day, it can be a little bit louder at times because, well, more people, I should say, because everyone's walking around doing shopping. Not as many people are out drinking on Bourbon Street. However, Bourbon Street is live and well and kicking butt right now. Considering they had a fire 2 days ago where they closed down Bourbon Street where a transformer blew. So that's kind of affected the tourism. A little bit for 2 days. You couldn't really do as much on it, but it's back up and running 100%. But it was interesting seeing 4 blocks of Bourbon Street completely closed down with no power. I don't think I've ever seen, even during COVID, when people couldn't come on Bourbon Street or they couldn't come down here because everything was closed, you still saw the neon lights were lit. So I think that was the only time I've ever seen Bourbon Street, sections of Bourbon Street that were shut down where there were no lights at all. So that's a little bizarre. But it's back up and running. And right now we're on Royal Street. A lot of cool shotgun houses. That one's beautiful. This one here on the corner, it looks like someone might have bought it. But that one right there gets decorated like crazy for Mardi Gras and it's beautiful. So I hope whoever is there, because it looks like something was done. They have something on the building, some kind of permit. So I hope whoever did purchase that actually does the same things because it was really cool. Here's Hotel Royal. It's a lesser expensive option for a hotel. And from what I saw, it's pretty decent. I've never actually stayed there, but I've looked at it because I've thought about coming there. I mean, obviously, when you come here every single year since 1997, you stay at a lot of different places. That used to be an old school in New Orleans, right there. It was also where Elvis shot King Creole, which if you do any kind of tour here, they'll talk about that. But Royal Street has all these art galleries. Really, really neat art galleries. And some cool stores too. And at the back of Jackson Square, where the cathedral is, over by Pirates Alley, they usually have some artists set up that are trying to sell their art, but a lot of these are little clothing stores, or they're going to be art galleries. And then you have sprinkled in a few hotels. Andrew Jackson Hotel right there has been claimed to be haunted. A specific room, I don't know which room it was, but yes, I've done the tour and I saw that. A lot of cool gift shopping for people on Royal Street. That's the corn stalk fence, which right here, which it's been closed down. So I don't know if they're remodeling it, if they're gonna reopen it, but it's definitely been fenced up, if you can tell right there. So I don't know what the deal is there, what they're gonna put there. I haven't heard, but I hope they keep that corn stalk fence, because it said that the person who actually had that house, the reason they have a corn stalk fence, as you can tell right there, the corn stalk fence, was because the owner, the person who bought the house, was from Iowa. But nothing's confirmed. That's just from different tours that I've heard. Most everything else I talk about, I'll usually say it's been research that I've done and confirmed and everything else. But obviously with that one, I don't know for sure if they were really from Iowa. You get the little details on everything here in the French Quarter, man. It is like you're walking around in a different world. Doesn't seem like it's the United States. And that's the little European feel that the French Quarter can definitely give you that other parts of the country don't have. I mean, it's just a little bit more unique than other places. Which is also where the food came from, by the way. So when you think about Creole and Cajun and stuff like that, Creole specifically, it's a blend of multiple cultures. You got Haitian, Indian, French, Spanish, so it's a multiple mixture of cultures, which brings it to a unique flavor. You can honestly say that New Orleans is one of the only places in the world, or in the US, I should say, that has its own cuisine that was created. Everywhere else, like even where pizza was created, that's an Italian dish. So it's part of being Italian cuisine. Whereas like in New Orleans, you have Creole and you have Cajun, which is different than anywhere else. Can you buy those things other places? Yeah, they usually have some kind of Creole or Cajun restaurant in every city, but it wasn't created there. And if you go to New York and you're going to an Asian place, it's an Asian cuisine. So it's interesting that this is one of the few places in the United States that a cuisine was created based off of the culture of the area.
In the fall, it's a picture of the wall. Did the devil make the world while God was sleeping?
I love this city. That is an interesting sound. Definitely a different kind of sound than you usually hear down here, but it was still really cool to hear it. I hope you guys were able to hear that even though I have my mic on. So now we're at Orleans. We're pulling up to Jackson Square, and you'll see the artists actually have some of their art on the back of the cathedral fence. That's one of the alleys. The least famous of the two. As a matter of fact, I don't even know what they call it. That's how the other one's way more famous, and partly because it's been in different movies and stuff like that. But here's some art on the fence. That's pretty cool. Oh God, it's so hot right now. I'm going back to work, or else I should have took it off. And because they have some construction, that we're actually ripping up the roads to put in better drainage systems and stuff like that, as you can tell, which this street's almost done, and they'll open it back up, which I'm sure a lot of the businesses here are really excited about it opening back up, because that does affect obviously some of the traffic that some of these businesses end up getting, because usually it's 100% open, and during the day Royal Street is actually blocked off to traffic from City Hall, or the old City Hall, the old government building, to just past where we were over by the Jackson Square area. They block it off the traffic so you can walk in the street and listen to bands, like kind of like these guys are doing right now, setting up, getting ready to play, and then you can usually walk. But because of the construction, they haven't blocked off the streets at all. So like, this definitely looks a lot slower than it usually is. But again, sometimes the slow times, I've done busy, Mardi Gras, Halloween, Jazz Fest, French Quarter Festival, and I've also come in January, which is usually a little bit busier because technically carnival season starts in January. However, this is probably the slowest it's been, but I have been to New Orleans when it was slow, and that was one of my favorite times because you can kind of do whatever you want and you don't have to fight the crowd or just people walking in the streets and stuff like that. So like, it's really neat. It kind of feels like you're walking in an old world. A lot of construction happening right now. A lot of construction in New Orleans happening. But then again, there's always construction happening in the French Quarter. I mean, New Orleans is 300 years old. So that means a lot of these buildings are literally that old as well. Or 200 years, because a lot of them burnt down during the fire, but the streets are the exact same size. So what used to be for horse and carriages are now for everyone else. So that's the tour of Jackson Square. I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna walk all the way. Yeah, usually no one's parked right here. It's usually closed down past here. You can't even go on Royal Street during the day like this. So it's interesting that they have the cars parked down here, but I think that has to do with the construction, that a big chunk of Royal Street is actually completely blocked off to traffic for the construction. So they probably left it open for anyone that wants to be able to come. This is the Omni Hotel right there. Famous place. A little bit of dark history the Omni Hotel has. So at one point I might get into the kind of dark history that's there. There's a story where someone jumped from the top of the building. There's a rooftop bar, and that's a very sad story. And they also, there were parts inside the Omni Hotel, that area, that they actually had auctions for slaves, which is another very dark history of New Orleans. So it's definitely a few things that are interesting about that hotel. That's the Supreme Court building of Louisiana. That's the courthouse I was talking about. This building has been in multiple movies as well. Probably the most recognized building or movie that I know of that building was in was JFK, with Oliver Stone movie. I don't think that building was in the Pelican Brief, which was also shot in New Orleans. or Double Jeopardy. I think maybe Double Jeopardy might have been a little bit in there. I think you see it, but it was definitely part of the JFK movie. We are coming up on the actual police station, which this is usually where they block it off. They usually start here. So for example, you see that barrier right here. It's usually called the Royal Street Pedestrian Mall. And from 11 to 4, Monday through Friday, it's closed, which obviously today it's not. And then Saturday, Sundays, 11 to 7, it's usually closed off to the driving traffic, which today, what is it, 2 o'clock right now? And it is open. So definitely it has something to do with the fact that they have that part of Royal Street closed down. Here, if you don't want to go to Cafe du Monde, you can come here. Cafe Beignet is known for the beignets, obviously. They do different flavored beignets too. So if you want a glazed one, you can get a glazed one and some other flavors, which is not the norm. It's not traditional. And New Orleans is a very traditional place. They have a lot of history that they actually still do today. Like Mardi Gras, some of the same rules have been for Mardi Gras since it started. So it's pretty impressive that they really hold on to their traditions. Little antique store. More art galleries. Cute little restaurant. Curio. Heard good things about Curio. I've never eaten there yet, but I've heard really good things about it. Still trying to get the hang of this gimbal. Sometimes I feel like if I move my hand, it has a mind of its own, but I'm getting there. I've had it for a couple weeks, and this is the first time I've actually felt comfortable enough using it, because I talk with my hands. So doing this and talking with your hands doesn't necessarily usually lead to very favorable results. This is the Hotel Monteleone. What's cool about the Hotel Monteleone is they have a bar in there that actually has a carousel in it that you can sit around, and the carousel slowly moves, and you can't really see it through the window here. But that's the bar right there, and it is really, really cool that they set it up like that. Finding a seat at the carousel bar is tough. I see spots right now that are actually open, but usually that's the first seats that people grab. And now we're at Mr. B's. Great place to have food. They make a great pork chop. So if you ever get a chance to eat here, phenomenal place to eat. And now we are 1 block away from Canal. So that's it. I'm going to walk over to Bourbon Street, and then I'm going to head back to work. But I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of sightseeing while I was walking. Use my gimbal for the first time. I appreciate you guys watching. Please like and subscribe, because I will be doing a lot more of this stuff. And I'll post something probably every day. So if you get a chance, please like and subscribe. And I'll post more later. Thank you guys.